where we're Mekayim the mitzvah, and then we end up making bracha on our talis and have it in mind as well. So why, when the time period kicks in for tzitzis, don't we have to either take a break and say, all right, even though I'm starting to be Mekayim the mitzvah now, I'm gonna make the bracha later. Why don't we do that?
You have to say what he said earlier, that first he says the minig is when you put it on early, you wait for the talus gadol. He said that's the minig.
Okay.
But factually, if you want to take the break, you can. But factually, it's a semi-bracha she'ein tzricha. It's an unnecessary bracha, because since you're about to say the bracha on the talus gadol, which is more appropriate because it's a more respectful garment. So what he's saying, 5 minutes earlier, you're right. If there's a tremendous amount of time, let's say you get up at 3:30 in the summer, still too early. Now, by the time you put on your talus, you're not going to put on your talus till 7:30. It's already going to be light. You can be able to see the bracha at 6. I mean, you should say the bracha, because you can't say saying the bracha at 6 is bracha she'ein tzricha, because at 7:30 you're going to say bracha on your talus. But if it's within a short period of time, then we say that probably is considered bracha she'ein tzricha. It's unnecessary because you're about to do it.
Okay.
Not if you speak. Not if you speak. If you speak in between, it doesn't help you.
So you can't have in mind. I mean, are one supposed to have in mind that when they put on their tzitzis that they're going to make that bracha later?
No, you don't have to have it. No, you don't. Well, you don't have to have that in mind.
You don't have to have that in mind.
No, you have to have in mind when you put on your talus gadol that talus gadol is covering talus gadol.
Both ways.
But you have to have in mind what is one thing, you have to do another.
So someone who doesn't put a talus gadol on, single better.
So then, when it comes time, when he's able to say it, first opportunity.
Not when he's about to daven.
No, he should say it before you do.
So if someone who comes here, for example, who doesn't put talus gadol, they'll say it.
It's a question of like interrupting. You know, it's like osik mitzvot. So you're in the middle of learning. You don't interrupt the learning. Yeah. Every minute you fulfill the mitzvah of tzitzis. So every minute is the minute before the next minute. So right now it's like you put it on at this moment. You'd have a bracha, you fill the mitzvah, but you have the mitzvah continuously. Okay. Okay, we're in Mishna Berura. No, Yud Zayin. We're all in Yud Zayin. Niskasa beged shuchai b'tzitzis, v'lohito b'tzitzis. Person covers himself with the garment which one's obligated to put tzitzis on. It's a four-cornered garment, and he didn't put tzitzis on it. He should have, he did not. Betel mitzvah tzitzis. He nullifies the mitzvah tzitzis. It's like a person has an obligation to say Kriya Shema, doesn't say Kriya Shema. You had an obligation to eat matzah and you chose not to. So it's called the bitul mitzvah saseh. You violated the mitzvah of not fulfilling the mitzvah. You have an obligation at this moment, you did not. If you're wearing a four-cornered garment, you have an obligation to put tzitzis. You did not, so you violated a mitzvah saseh. Every moment that you don't put the tzitzis on, you're in violation of mitzvah saseh.
Is that right? Because
every moment you're not permitted to wear a four-cornered garment without tzitzis.
So every minute you have a four-cornered garment.
You're wearing it. Every
it.
moment you're wearing it, where you should have put tzitzis and you did not. So therefore, if you borrow a four-cornered garment, where you have no obligation, it's fine. You haven't done anything wrong. But if you own the garment, then it's a problem.
What would be an example of a four-cornered garment that I have no idea garments that I would wear? Other than tzitzis, that's four-cornered garment.
Poncho. Give you an example. What would it be? A woman's shawl. A woman's not able to wear tzitzis, but a shawl, right? It's equivalent. It's four-cornered, many of them. You wrap yourself in it. Even though you're not wearing it like a talus, you wear it as a wrap. It doesn't make a difference. But if it covers your body, you're wearing it that matter. That's called wearing a garment. So you're not permitted. You know, they have these. No, but it doesn't cover your body. It's around your neck. But let's say they have these very large towels called like almost like sheets, right? A bath towel. So the towel, I don't know which classify it as, a Beged Yom, Beged Laila, right? It's neither. And you go and you walk out, you walk out of the whatever, and you're wrapped. Or you come out of the pool, you wrap yourself in this very large towel.
Is it called a garment?
Sure, it's a garment. Anything woven, anything which is woven is called a garment.
It's not wearing.
That's called wearing. You're
Wearing a towel?
wearing anything that covers.
Drying myself.
No. Let's see when you're drying yourself. No.
walking from,
You're walking from the
Vaeira.
pool to the house, and it's drafty. It's cold. And you wrap yourself in the towel. Right.
So what happens if people put a towel, they do it around their waist, so it looks like a...
No, it has to cover your back.
Cover the, it's not
Has to cover your back.
cover
The back. The majority of the back. It has to cover the majority of your back. That's cool. That's
If you're
wearing.
walking out of the shower to your dressing room and your towel is around your back, is that a problem?
It's not large enough. It's not large enough. But I'm talking about it's a towel sheet. Whatever
No,
they.
some of these towels are like the towels. I mean,
Well, in the bathroom for sure not.
no.
Time you get in your dressing room, you're taking it off,
No.
so you're not able to. Right.
But also, doesn't one have to have, 2 corners in the front and 2 in the back?
It does have. It's irrelevant the way you're wearing it. You're wearing a garment that's obligated tzitzis.
But that's the way we're supposed to wear it, even though that's not
The
the way we're
proper
required
way,
to wear it.
yeah. The way it's
What's the
worn, 2 in the
distinction?
front, 2 in the... That has to do with tzitzis.
Right.
But a 4-corner garment, if it's considered you're wearing it, you have to put tzitzis on it.
Regardless
That's
of
cool.
how it's being worn.
It's exactly. No, if you wear it just as a scarf, it's not covering your body. Then you're not wearing it. That's not called wearing. But if you wear it as a person wears something, which is covering the back, which is considered the majority of the trunk, that's called wearing the garment.
And so why don't people put, I don't know everybody, but why don't people put tzitzis on towels then?
No,
Like you're
that's the
describing.
question. I'm not giving an answer to this.
No.
I'm just saying it seems to be, it would be a problem. First of all, a normal sized bath towel is not really a problem. It's not. But if you have a very large towel, like a beach towel, very large towel, it does.
Well,
Yeah.
over that one a bunch. Make sure someone else owns the towel.
It's not a problem, you're not, because the obligation, they've tied your hands. There's the famous Mordechai, which we discussed when we learned many years ago, Vaeira, that the Mordechai says on Shabbos, and this is why we're going to have later, if a person is in shul on Shabbos and he realizes his tzitzis are posel, he's permitted to wear the tzitzis, the towels without tzitzis. So the question is, it's mitzvah saseh? He's violating mitzvah saseh. So the Mordechai says, the Torah says, when you wear a 4-corner garment, you must tie the strings into the corners. It's not you have to wear a garment that has tzitzis. It will be, the obligation is to wear a garment that has tzitzis. Then, under no circumstance will you be permitted to wear that garment on Shabbos. But it's when you wear the 4-corner, you have an obligation to tie tzitzis. Since on Shabbos Kshira, tying is not permitted, so therefore, the Torah says, today you don't tie it. Therefore, you're not in violation. So therefore, it's a question of kavod abrios, that you'll be embarrassed. Everybody's wearing a talus. You're not going to wear a talus. That becomes the overriding factor. Rabbinically, you shouldn't wear it anyway. But if it's a question of kavod abrios, you can be embarrassed, then you're permitted to wear it.
But if they called you out to be actually have tzibur, have that.
On Shabbos or during the week,
Shabbos.
you're permitted.
Yeah,
It's
no,
no different than sitting in your seat.
So you wouldn't change your towels?
No, if you could change it, which means you have no other towels to put on. And you'll be the only one sitting without a talus where everybody's sitting with talus. So every married person has a talus, you're not wearing a talus. So it's an embarrassment.
So, Rabbi, if you go to a shul, you don't have your own talus, so you're going to be using the shul talus. And that particular shul, there are a lot of talesim
That are posel.
So would you go through the elaborate exercise of looking through, spending the time...
Shul
looking through to
talus,
find-
a shul talus is not so simple, because the Tzipias of Frank, regarding wearing a talus by slichus. See, over there he says it's better to borrow than use a shul talus, because a shul talus, every member of the community is an owner of that talus, and even you say, well, I want no ownership. You can't even disown it, because factually, if you're a member of the community, you own it. The moment you disown it, you own it again. Because you have a communal right, monetary right in it. So therefore, you suggest you should not use the shul talus for slichus when you daven early, but you should borrow a talus, someone else's talus. There should be a borrowed talus, not a shul talus. Be the same thing. I mean, you have to check. It's not even, that's not called a borrowed talus. So there, you're not permitted to wear the talus if it's possible. And Kavod Hatzib is not going to help you over there during the week. Shabbos will be the same idea. Be no worse than your own talus.
Could I get around that by disowning my membership for the day?
Today I am persona non grata. Okay.
No,
You don't have to pay membership to a shul. It's just you have to be a member of the community,
No,
right?
I'm
Is
not
that
a
correct?
member.
I'm moving out. I'm moving out.
Rabbi, are you over a law?
I say.
But is it a law that if you put a garment on
You
that
have to pass the committee first.
you have to wear the tzitzis?
Again, there's no love. There's no negative commandment.
Well, the next commandment is that you
The Torah, negative means the Torah expresses it as a don't. Torah says,
don't
Torah
wear a garment.
the Torah doesn't say that. Torah doesn't say that. Okay, let's just do Mishna Berura here.
I'm sure if you called up somebody and said, I'd like this person to be a member, I think he's not being told no.
It says Gedilim Kasaloch. Exactly.
It's not about paying fees. It's about being a member of the community.
Mitzvah tzitzis. The tzitzis chov is gavro. The tzitzis is an obligation on the individual. Linyan zeh shem niskasa betalis. When do you have the obligation to put tzitzis on? The niskasa betalis. When you wear the talis, oschal olo achiv. That's when the obligation comes upon you. So if you wear it and you did not address this, you're violating mitzvah asay. Ayin simin yud zayin. Okay. You know, they asked the question on the Mordechai. We discussed this in Vaeira. It says the Mishnah says in Vaeira that if you slaughter a oaf or a chay, bird or a non-domesticated animal, you do shechita, you have to have kisei adam. What happens if you didn't prepare earth before Yom Tif to cover its blood? You're not permitted to slaughter. Why? Because you're in violation of mitzvah asay. You're entering into a situation that you're not able to fulfill the mitzvah asay of kisei adam. So they ask from this Mordechai. But according to the Mordechai, the Torah says, why, if you have no earth, why can't you provide earth? Because it's a question of digging or granulating the earth, which is ksisha, kosish. So it's the same thing. Torah says, cover the blood. Is it comparable? You hear the question? Just as over here we're saying you're permitted to wear four-corner garment on Shabbos and Yom Tov. If you don't have tzitzis, because the mitzvah is tie it on the garment. So if you did not, you're permitted to wear the four-corner garment on Shabbos and Yom Tov. Here, Torah says, when you slaughter the bird or the undomesticated animal, cover its blood. But over here, you're not able to cover its blood because you didn't dig it or you didn't granulate the sand to cover its blood. Yom Tov. Right, Yom, we're talking Yom Tov. You're permitted to slaughter, but the Mishnah says, but if you did not prepare earth, you're not permitted. Because you're not able to fulfill the mitzvah asay of kisei adam. But when does the obligation come about? Only once you've slaughtered. It's once you have the blood, cover. So the same thing. I have the four-corner garment, put the tzitzis on it. But so if you're not able, you're permitted to wear it without tzitzis. So here, where you're not able to cover it, so you're permitted to slaughter. But the Mishnah says you're not permitted to slaughter. The question's asked. But they're not comparable, the two. They're not comparable. That's the that's the trick to differentiate.
Food. The Torah is like it's a.
Is it the main course or is it the appetizer? No, that's not. Over here, the Torah says when you have a four-corner garment, what does the Torah say? Put tzitzis on. What is putting tzitzis on? It means kosher. When you slaughter, cover it with sand, with earth. Is covering earth synonymous with granulation and digging? No. You could have earth. Whenever the Torah says put tzitzis on, tzitzis means tying. Torah says, but you're not permitted to tie, not on Shabbos, not on Yom Tov. Here, when you slaughter, cover its blood. So you're not able to cover its blood. So you've entered in a situation where you could have covered. Your particular situation may be that you can't cover it. Because for you, you'll have to dig or you'll have to granulate the earth. But what the Torah is telling you is cover. Meaning you should have had earth prepared. Since you're failing, that you're not able to fulfill the mitzvah. So therefore, you're not permitted to enter in the mitzvah. To what? To do that. Because you're entering a situation not able to address your obligation. Tzitzis Torah says when you tie it. The mitzvah is to tie the strings on the corners. Is the Torah telling me to tie in Shabbos and Yom Tov? You're not permitted to tie. Of course, that's what Mishna says. You should have, but if you did not, you're not permitted to slaughter. Okay. Okay. Let's see. Okay. Doesn't say that. Yeah, it says Eifakira Muchan. But if you don't have ash, so then you don't. Yeah, same problem. David, the 27th of January, I'm getting